Hi, this is Juliana Hatfield, and you're watching Blairing Out with Eric Blair.
Yeah! How you doing today, Juliana?
I'm okay.
Yeah?
I'm a little stressed out.
Why do you think you're stressed out today?
I think LA just always stresses me out. Whenever I come here, I get like, I'm not sure why. LA is just kind of weird.
There's a lot of tense pressure in the air here. I mean, there are people hustling and bustling, and a lot of it seems like there's a lot of anger here.
Yeah, that, and you get the sense that there's this sleazy undercurrent going on all the time.
What are some of your fondest memories from the Berklee School of Music?
I have to think for a second of my fondest memories. Oh, my very fondest memory of Berklee was meeting John Strom and Frida Love, who became the Blake Babies with me. That was my first band, and we all met at Berklee.
What did you learn from that experience with the Blake Babies?
Well, I learned how to play with other people, and I learned how to collaborate, how to play and sing, basically, because we all were kind of just starting to learn our instruments when we got the band together.
Who were your early musical influences?
70s AM radio. When I was a kid, all I would listen to was the radio.
So like top 40?
Yeah, like from stuff like 10cc and like Dreamweaver and
that's such a great
all
song.
That stuff,
Yeah.
The Eagles, all that stuff.
Did you ever watch the Midnight Special when you were a kid?
Yeah.
That totally moved me.
Oh yeah, and Don Kirshner's rock concert and all that stuff.
That was the best.
Yeah.
It's like live music, like in your face.
Yeah.
And instead
like good music.
Yeah. So how did you make the move from the Blake Babies to your first solo album?
Well, after 4 or 5 years of the Blake Babies, we all just kind of decided that it was time to end it because it had sort of run its course, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so then we broke up amicably, and then I just seemed like the only thing to do was to make a record of my own, because I didn't have a band, but I had songs, and so I just made my own record.
Was that your first thought after the band disbanded, or was this something that you were kind of thinking about?
Well, yeah, I think I was having ideas of things that I wanted to do that couldn't really be done in the context of the Blake Babies. So I did have a concept of wanting to do something of my own, but it wasn't all worked out in my head. I just kind of knew that I needed to break away from that band, to find myself.
During the success of Become What You Are, how did it feel to see yourself on the cover of magazines such as Spin?
It's always so odd to see. It's odd when I see myself in magazines, because it always seems like someone foreign to me. It's never an accurate representation of myself, and so it's always, I feel like anyone else who's looking at it, I feel like I'm reading about a relative stranger,
Plus, also when you have any type of fame, people always have this perception of you that is totally way off base unless they actually know you.
Yeah, it's true. There's no way you can get to know someone through reading an interview with that person, but that's understood. I don't expect anyone to get to know me by reading about me. I don't really care about presenting the real me to the world of total strangers. I don't need to.
You don't need their validation.
Well, yeah, I don't need for the world to know who I am, I don't care about that.
You played the part of an angel on the TV series, My So-Called Life. How did that come about, and did you enjoy it, and do you see yourself pursuing an acting career in the future?
They needed a song for this Christmas episode, and that's how they initially contacted me to write a song for the show. And then when they met me, they thought that I kind of looked and felt right for the character who was going to sing the song. So they offered me the part. So I wrote the song and I did this part, and it was pretty much the first acting I'd really done. And it was pretty difficult just because I had never done it before. I had no training. But it was also kind of a thrill. And but I don't know if I'm going to do more because I'm not really good at it. I don't really have the personality for it.
I thought you were good.
Well, thank you.
I liked your part.
Thank you.
We just watched the episode the other day, actually, because that show's a classic now.
Yeah.
Did you like working with Claire Danes?
Oh, it was amazing to watch her work. It's just so much more intense and awe-inspiring up close. You know, she's so gifted.
How did Spin the Bottle end up on the Reality Bites soundtrack?
I think that my record, Become What You Are, had already been released when the people from the movie asked about using this song from the album in the movie, Spin the Bottle.
Yeah.
And so I remember I read the script of the movie. It wasn't out yet, and I thought it would be a good thing to do, you know, get my song out there in another way.
I love that song, The Outsider. First of all, what's that song about? Because it sounds like it's like some distant romance in a way.
Well, it's more about, I think it's about being an artist. Dare I say that word? But I think the song is about being a creative person, and if you are dedicated to a life of making art, you sort of have to sacrifice certain things like human contact sometimes. Sometimes relationships suffer at the expense of the quest for the art, you know? And I think that's what the song's about. I'm a little hazy about what I was trying to say.
That's funny because I talked to Billy Sheehan. You're familiar with who Billy Sheehan is, right? Yeah, he's rad. Exactly. And he was telling me that, I said, how'd you become so good, man? And he's like, dude, practice. And I'd sit and watch kids outside my window, like playing football and baseball and going out with chicks. And I'm like, I'm just going to sit in my room and practice.
Yeah, and that's what I talk about in the song. I'm talking about being in a hotel room, looking out the window at people, wishing for contact with them, but not being able to because, you know, you're busy working on the quest for the creative bliss, you know?
You're kind of a loner, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
And where does that come from?
I think I was just born with loner DNA. You know, it's just the way I'm made.
Were there boys in high school? Or were there partners in high school? Anybody?
Well, I had, there were people. Yeah, there have been people along the way, but never any one, like, really lasting bond, you know?
Is that more because of where you're at in your life, or is it because they were just passing through?
Oh, I think it's me. I think I'm just, so far in my life, I haven't really felt the need to be hooked up with one particular person for a long time.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I'm more interested in, I'm still seeking, you know? I'm seeking things out.
Did you enjoy playing the Lilith Fair, and was there a spirit of camaraderie there?
It was fine. It was a fine experience. It wasn't very exciting, but it wasn't a bad time either. There was not, in my experience, there wasn't a lot of camaraderie between the artists. There was
kind of catty?
No, it wasn't like that. It was just that people were sort of keeping to themselves, keeping to their own buses, and I've experienced a lot more bonding on other tours, actually, than on this tour. And maybe it had to do with the fact that it was like a revolving lineup, and people would like I, for instance, came on for a week's worth of shows, and then I left, and so maybe there just wasn't time for people to bond, you know.
Your new release, Please Do Not Disturb. Why an EP and not a full-length album?
Well, I'm working on an album for release in 1998, and I wanted to put something out before the album, just a little bit of a tease before the album.
Sounds good. You use a lot of distorted bass on the new album. I hear distorted bass on there.
There's distorted bass on Get Off. I know that.
The way you're singing and the sounds you're using is more mature sounding. You've gone on to another phase.
I would agree with that. I'm glad you can hear that, because I agree with that.
How do you approach your songwriting now compared to like your become what you are period?
Wow. I still write on acoustic guitar. I think I'm going to new places lyrically. I think I'm trying to connect more with the world lyrically, rather than just like being in my own head and all obsessed with my own thoughts. I think I'm trying to connect outwardly more with people lyrically.
Okay, how would you define the word love? You seem like a very like heavy, intense person, so that's why I'm asking you this question.
Love, how would I define love?
The word.
That's so
how
hard.
How would you define it?
How would I define love? Oh God, that's impossible to answer. I don't know, because I don't know if I've ever really, truly experienced it. I've experienced degrees of it, different kinds of it, but I haven't experienced the ultimate, so I think it's just, I don't know, I have no idea.
It's that unconditional thing. Once you experience that, then you know what it is, I think.
I think I have love for my dog. True unconditional love for my dog that I've never had for a person.
What CDs is Juliana Hatfield listening to right now?
Verbena. It's a band out of Birmingham, Alabama. They have a record out on Merge Records. And it's a really, really good album called Souls for Sale.
What's next for Juliana Hatfield?
I'm going to finish this album I've been working on and then put it out in the new year sometime and then tour the world.
What do you think of the Spice Girls?
I think they're vulgar.
In what way?
They in what way? I think they show too much skin. And they're kind of crass. The way they're always throwing themselves on people and
It's girl power.
yeah, well, it's not really my kind of girl power.
I know, I understand. I thought that you'd have a definite opinion about them, so that's why I asked you.
I'm not against the Spice Girls. I sort of admire their bodaciousness and their, but I just think it's a little bit crass and I'm sort of over it. Like at first it was entertaining,
Yeah.
but after a while it gets
old.
sort of old very
Yeah.
fast.
I can understand. I understand, Juliana. Are you happy, and what does that mean to you?
I have moments of happiness, but I have moments of sadness too. But I think everybody does. If you didn't have those moments of sadness, you wouldn't appreciate the moments of happiness.
That's very true. Without heaven, there would be no hell.
Right.
How many dates have you done so far?
We've done about 2.5 weeks, and we have about 2.5 weeks more to go. Halfway through.
I heard you're on a van here in California.
Yeah. We're it's the low-key kind of econo tour.
Do you like that?
Yeah, I can deal with vans, I can deal with buses, I can deal with anything, because I've done it all, you know?
It doesn't bother you to be like taking these big tour buses and then all of a sudden like have to take this van?
No, it doesn't bother me at all. 'Cause at this point, at this stage in my career, I wouldn't feel right about having a bus right now.
Okay.
This doesn't seem like the right thing to do right now, because I don't have an album out, and it just seems like too. See, I have sort of puritanical values, and I think it's wasteful to have a bus at this point, and I don't deserve it right now.
You're cool. It's been nice talking to you. And thank you for doing the interview.
You're welcome.
Is it going to be cool if we videotape some songs?
Oh God,
Just say yes or no.
No, I have this thing against live taping.
Okay.
I don't like live.
Because we have enough for your videos to like probably do some inserts
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
No, I kind of have a policy. I do have a policy of no. Right now on this tour, no live taping.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks.
Okay.
Peace. I guess we'll stay. Do you want to stay and watch the show, Kat? Okay.
The Blairing Out Show.
This is the Blairing Out with Eric Blair Show.